Welcome to the most entertaining, engaging, and charismatic podcast. I am your host, the Prince of Fresh Air, and I hope you guys enjoyed part one. Like I said, it got a little heated. It got very confrontational in a sense, but I think for all intents and purposes, it was just something that we just needed to meet minds and come to a resolution, which we ended up doing in this part. But I had to break it down because it did get very heated and it went a lot longer than I thought it would be. So, for anyone who missed the question, I want to ask this question again. And listen to part one if you didn't get the chance, because part one is going to be an essential part for this part two. Do you think children under the age of 12 should be sentenced to life in prison or decade-long prison sentences? And when I say decade-long, let me clarify. I'm not talking about 10 years. I'm not talking about just 20 years. I'm talking about 60 years in prison, for a 10-year-old. Is that right? And like I said, there's no right or wrong answer. But this is a topic that I've never discussed on this podcast, never thought I would discuss on this podcast. I don't think anybody ever thought they'd be talking about stuff like this. But unfortunately, things do happen, and reality does happen. So, I won't keep this too long. I hope you guys enjoy this part, and I'm looking forward to the next episode because I am going to be bringing on a new guest, and we're going to be talking about something hard-hitting, but it's going to be more about that person and talking about personal experiences. But for the sake of this, I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you learn something and form your own opinion. Let me know what you think, whether you want to hit me up on Instagram, mention me in the comments of the podcast or whatever. Let me know your opinions because I'm curious. But without further ado, welcome to part two.
So we've seen plenty of these scenarios in court where the judge is just in contempt for whomever it is that is in trouble. And me, if I'm the judge presented with all of the evidence thus far, I'm holding this dude in contempt if I'm using the phrasing right, because again, it's like, yo, my boy, you lied. You lied. When the authorities ask you what happened, again, to me, innocent little kids that don't know what they're doing because they have nothing to hide, they're just gonna tell the truth. They're gonna say, "Oh, I shot my mommy." Like that's what a little kid would say. A little kid not gonna try to hide his, cover his bloody hands and stuff like that. That's what a criminal does. A little kid, literally, and stuff like that. I would 100% agree with you if the little kid just came out and told the truth, and was like, I shot my mom, and told the truth. But yet, this whole situation is fraught with basically the aspects of a rotten kid. You can't just be assuming that, oh, everybody is just good natured and all little kids are innocent. No, because you got little ass niggas like that literally lied. A little kid, an innocent kid. If that 10-year-old kid was innocent, he would have just been like, yeah, I shot my mommy. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. But because a judge and police in that situation, you'd be like, yo, like, he didn't even try to lie about it. I mean, yo, this is a little kid. Like, he just came. Because, yo, if I'm sitting there, I'm a detective, and I'm in the interrogation room and stuff like that. I got people watching behind the glass, and I'm like, all right, son, so what happened? He's like, yeah, I shot my mommy. I shot her. People are gonna be like, oh, he told the truth. He just came out and said it. So if this kid were to get in this situation and pretty much help the legal system do its job easier, then I'm pretty sure that sentence wouldn't have been that harsh. I'm pretty sure, because if he would have looked the part or acted the part of an innocent little kid, they were not going to give him 60 freaking years. It's because he got in there and he freaking lied. They didn't give he doesn't give people like me listening to the situation nothing to go off of. I have nothing to go, because the only thing you're going off of is his age. I'm going off of the details, and the fact of the matter is, innocent little kids don't fucking lie.
That's not true.
Yes, it is true. Yes, it is true. Because when you're afraid of the consequences and stuff like that, and you know what you did is wrong, of course you're gonna lie about it because you don't want to get in trouble. He wasn't afraid of his mom. Oh, but he afraid of them cops. He knew to lie to them cops though, right? Yeah.
But hold on. Let me say this. Adults lie all the time. And like, that's it. This people who commit crimes, you got them on videotape, and they still lie. You could show them a videotape and they'll still lie. Adults, no, you don't admit guilt until the last thing, until is over. A little kid, I lied I don't lie that much, but I was lying all through my younger years. Even my mom was like, I saw you go in my room. Did you steal my money? No, I know I stole it, but I'm a kid. I'm not thinking about, let me admit it. I'm gonna still get my cheeks beat anyway, so I might as well lie about it, not admit to it. A little kid, but I'm saying,
because he said because he said that he went to the basement and took up a shooting stance. The complaint said so after she woke him up and all of that, he went and got the gun and took up a shooting stance in front of his own mom. He said his mother walked in front of him when he tried to shoot the wall to scare her. So now he used that gun to intimidate his own mom. He wanted to be in position of power dealing with his freaking mom. And he admitted that he shot her in the face when she was approximately 3 feet away. He then put the gun in the living room closet and woke up his sister, it said. The complaint said the boy admitted to knowing that guns are dangerous and can kill people. And he fucking did it anyway.
No.
He fucking did it anyway.
Hold on. Let me say this. Like I said, what he did, unexcusable. The problem
is, you're giving him
excuses.
Don't use inexcusable, because you've been giving this kid mad excuses thus far. So I don't think inexcusable is the right terminology. Hold on. Because you've been giving this kid mad excuses.
Let me ask you a question. All right. Let's say I agree with you, right? He's being tried as an adult. You think a 10-year-old should be locked up with 20 plus something year old adults? He's being tried as an adult as we speak. That's another issue.
You know why? Because of what the fuck he did. It's not like we're not talking about a little kid that, like, and especially his mom is dead. He shot her in the fucking head. And then this whole narrative is exactly why they tried him as an adult, because dude was pretty much acting like an adult, in my opinion. Because he knew, again, he knew to lie to the right people to try to avoid trouble. But again, this is a kid who took up a shooting stance in front of his mother. Knew he was so mature to know to shoot a warning shot at his mom to quote unquote scare her. And then he shot her when she was just 3 feet away. My man, again, if he came to the police when he got caught and apprehended, if he had just said, I shot my mom. You know what I'm saying? However, a little kid would just, come out and say it. I shot her. But the motherfucker lied and then delayed the investigation. So in the court of law, I'm the judge. And then you come to me with all of this stuff. And then I'm already, first of all, and I hear the little kid lied about the shit. And then on top of that, and then on top of that, you add the fact that he's black. And you add the fact that he's black. Trust me, bro. Like, I'm as pro-black as they come. If I could literally defend this little kid, I would if I could. But again, I read everything. That's why I wanted the story. That's exactly why I wanted, because I wanted to see with my own eyes myself. There's nothing I have to go off of. Like, if I was this kid's lawyer, what am I gonna say? What is my defense gonna be?
I would say,
that he's a little kid. That doesn't hold up in the court of law. It's like me and Adrian told you yesterday. It's like what me and Adrian told you yesterday. In the court of law, it's a wrap.
No. Hold on. I disagree. You know why? Because in the case like I was talking about with the teens who get life sentence, what happens is after a period of time, these kids, they appeal their case, and then judges be like, look, this kid was 15 years old. Why is he getting tried like an adult? He didn't have the capacity. Now, granted, what they did, they deserve to serve time. But now the problem is we're comparing a 10-year-old who's, first of all, 10-year-olds lie. That we can't expect grown adults lie all the time when it comes to crimes. We can't expect a little kid to lie. Grown black men lie to police all the time because they're afraid of police. They don't like police. So we can't expect a little 10-year-old black kid to admit and come out to the police. Oh yeah, I killed my mom. I did this. Of course he knows right from wrong, but he don't have the same capacity as an adult.
The difference is because little innocent kids are the ones that are going to be a lot quicker to tell the truth than a freaking adult. And then on top of that, see, it gets even worse because it says his sister told the police that the boy had rage issues his whole life and becomes very angry and acts out. The complaint said the boy told investigators that he has 5 different imaginary people that talk to him. A therapist who had been meeting with the boy gave him a concerning diagnosis. The sister said per the complaint. No further details on the diagnosis were detailed. The mother had also placed cameras in the home to watch him. 2 weeks ago, before the shooting, the sister learned from her mother that someone had unplugged the cameras. Oh, gee, I wonder who it was. Police also interviewed other family members, including an aunt of the boy, who told police he never cried and showed no remorse. So again, when the story, basically, this case solves itself.
No.
It solves itself. If I'm a detective, if I'm like Mike Larry or some shit, yo, there's nothing I could do to defend this kid. This kid is a rotten apple. He is a danger to himself, and he was a danger to other people, and he is right where he freaking belongs. If at some point he wants to try to catch a plea deal, whatever, I cool, sure, whatever. But I'm not batting an eye at that sentence whatsoever, based off of this story right here, which NBC News don't have no reason to lie. You know what I'm saying? Because you know what I'm saying? What are they gonna lie about little 10-year-old kid for?
No, you're right. And
and then said the morning after the shooting, on November 22nd, the boy logged on to his mother's Amazon account and ordered an Oculus virtual reality headset. So this motherfucker killed his fucking mom. He killed his goddamn mom. And then he went right on her Amazon account and fucking bought more shit. I'm not fucking defending this kid, dude. I'm not defending this kid. This motherfucker is right where he fucking belongs. You might not like the word 60. You might not like the word 30, 20, but I don't give two fucks. That little kid is right where he goddamn belongs. Facts. Facts. That is a rotten kid. He is a terrible kid. Just take it in. Because guess what? There are shitty people out there. I grew up around shitty kids in elementary school, intermediate school, stuff like that. I know who these kids are. I know exactly who these kids are. So I'm not assuming, oh yeah, all little kids are innocent and all of that. Because if I was a school teacher, I'm pretty sure, yeah, kids are generally good, but there's going to be some rotten apples amidst them. Facts. And this kid is such a rotten apple that, again, he's a repeat offender, just like I said. I said that before I even knew that after he killed his mom, the morning after, he went and bought more shit on her fucking Amazon account.
But hold on. I think when we say repeat offender, we can't say that about kids. You know why? Because as kids get older.
But he knows what he's doing.
No,
he knows exactly what he's doing, though. That's what I'm saying. Of course, I can use a repeat offender. Repeat offender is not age specific. You worried about age. I'm talking about facts. The facts of the matter is he got in trouble for doing some shit. His mom confronted him about it. He killed his freaking mom. The same thing that she confronted him about it, he went ahead and did it again the next day after he killed her. And he admitted that he knew guns was dangerous. He knew that freaking everything that he was fucking doing was wrong, and he has a history of freaking acting out and stuff like that. She had cameras in his house because of him, and he unplugged the cameras. This is a bad kid. This is a bad kid. He's a bad kid.
I agree, but I think this kids need help. It's like, for instance, we see this time and time again. People
you can't help kids like that. No. You can't help kids like that.
I say this. This kids who have mental illness, right? There was a case, 70-year-old kid, high profile case. This was like 2009. This kid was 16 years old. He had a lot of like schizophrenic. Hold on. He had a lot of mental disorders. And one day something happened with him and his parents. He killed everybody. His mom, his dad, his sisters. He killed everybody. This 16-year-old kid. And they argued in court. He don't have the capacity as an adult. He's suffering. So instead of giving him, a death sentence, a life sentence, they gave him time. Don't get me wrong, but he also went to a mental health institution. But now what we're telling people is, kids can go to jail with adults. My problem is a 10-year-old is going to be serving a life sentence with a bunch of adults. You know what's going to happen to this kid? He's going to get beat up. He's going to get raped, taken advantage of. A 10-year-old with adults. Now we're teaching kids, you commit crimes, you don't get no second chance. You go into jail with the rest of the adults. No, that's not how it works. Because
but here's my thing though. Because there are some kids that you need strong deterrents to keep them away. Exactly. So if you don't want to end up like that, then stay away from crime. Don't do dumb shit. Because see, this is the thing. It says the same morning, his aunt took him to his grandmother's house to meet with Child Protective Services workers. The affidavit said that when he arrived, he saw his grandmother crying. So when he saw his grandmother crying and stated without any empathy or compassion, I'm really sorry for what happened. I'm sorry for killing my mom. After he apologized for killing his mother, he then asked if his Amazon package arrived. Dude, this is what I'm saying. So again, if there was something that I can go off of, I would go off of it. But if I was a judge, I would literally just sit here. I would literally look at this kid like, yo, are you serious? Like,
No, but
whatever the prosecutor, however it is that they do it, throw the book at his little nigga ass.
no. But
Yeah,
I would say no. You know
because
why?
you're too soft. Because you're too soft.
It's
And
not about soft.
that's why you have kids. That's why you have kids out there like that. Because you have people like you making excuses for them. You can't make there are some things you cannot make excuses for. Trust me. Initially, we're on the same page as far as like, look, kids are kids, and there's a certain conscious and awareness that they don't have. But this kid, again, I'm just going off of what your source was. So this is where you got this story from. And based off of this story, I have nothing to go off for me to feel any ounce of sympathy for him, because his family don't. Because they're the ones that said, yo, this kid doesn't have any ounce of sympathy whatsoever. And little kids that do things that they have no perception of.
He's a troubled kid.
Because listen, during the aftermath, if that was the case and you really had no idea what he was doing, then during the aftermath is when all of that would have came out. All of that would have came out. Then he would have realized, oh shit, I killed my mom. Oh my gosh. He didn't do that. He didn't do that. He did not do that. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not looking at, oh, he's 10 years old. So because let me tell you something. Do people like that need fucking help?
Yes.
Because clearly they said he had a rage problem and all of that. But again, putting cameras in the house and being there, for this little freaking menace, clearly it wasn't enough. Because a kid like that, if he didn't do it that day, he was going to do it another day, or he was going to do it to someone else. This is why I say he's right where he belongs. Kids like that are right where they belong. He is not a good kid.
No,
because good kids, they don't do that. Because I was a good kid. You know what I'm saying? And I grew up around other good kids. So I know what good kids do. I know how certain shit is. And then you just don't do certain shit when you're a good kid. And trust me, if you end up doing some bullshit. So let's say if he shot her by accident, the first thing he would have said when he got to that, police station was, I shot her by accident. I shot her. But he's a fucking liar. And then on top of that, he was too concerned about his Oculus Rift or his Oculus virtual reality headset.
A sign of a kid.
Huh?
A sign of a kid.
No, it's a sign of a bad fucking kid. I honestly really wish that Adrian or somebody else was on here, because I'm not bugging. I'm not bugging on this one. I'm not, because trust me, again, I'm an advocate for kids, who have bad parents. Trust me. So if there's a situation where I can hold a bad parent accountable for what they do to their kids, I'm gonna do that shit. However, I'm gonna hold people accountable on all sides of the spectrum, because I'm a fair dude. So again, I'm just dealing with all the information presented, and I'm not gonna give him a pass. I'm not gonna give him a pass, because what you want is for them to say, yeah, go to jail for 5 years or some shit, and then get out and then go and kill somebody else. Because what would you say? What would you say if they put him in jail for 2 years? So they gave him punishment that you feel is appropriate for a 10-year-old that just doesn't do anything, and then he went out and then he killed a family member. What would somebody like you say?
I would say this. I would say he obviously. So this is what generally happens with juveniles, right?
Now, what would you say? What would you say?
This is important. What a lot of times with kids, when juveniles get locked up, they get placed in jail or whatever, juvenile jail, until they're 18 or 21. Then they're given a chance to prove themselves. Why? Because now they're at the capacity where now they're able to think before they react. A 10-year-old, he needs time. He needs help. As you said, his family's talking about he has behavioral problems. He has issues. I don't think he's a Ted Bundy at 10 years old. Ted Bundy didn't surface until he was an adult, a functioning adult who lured victims and did what he did. You can't compare a 10-year-old to an adult. And I think I'm not saying he don't deserve consequences, but what I'm saying is a 10-year-old should not be sentenced to life in prison, because as we've seen, this teenagers who commit way worse crimes, and judges are saying, no, they're not serving a life sentence. The 15 years old kid, he wasn't thinking. He had time to reflect. He's going to serve some time. He's going to get out in many years. He's not coming out for 2 years, but he's going to serve some time. But we're not going to throw him away and lock up the key. Why were we going to do that to a 10-year-old? That's all I'm saying. You're going to take a 10-year-old. Let's say he does get found guilty, right? 60 years in prison. You're going to take a 10-year-old and throw him in a prison with a bunch of adults who's going to take advantage of this little kid. He ain't going to know a damn thing about prison, let alone about life. He don't know what it's like to pay bills. He don't know what it's like to drink. He don't know nothing. You're going to take a 10-year-old, throw him in jail with a bunch of adults who's going to take advantage of him because in prison, people going to take advantage of this little kid. He ain't going to learn nothing. So I think.
Right, but let me ask you. But so you didn't answer a question. So I'm saying, what would you say if this kid were to get, this baby Nick Jr., punishment and stuff like that you feel is worthy for a 10-year-old, and he goes out and does the same thing again to someone else? I'm asking because I'm making a point here. What would you say?
I think at that point, lock him up the way the key. Why?
But why does it take him doing the same thing again to someone else for you to realize that he's a bad kid and he's a danger to society? Because have you ever seen the episode of the smoking with cigarettes episode in the Boondocks?
No,
the kid
I don't
who was
watch the Boondocks.
Oh, you never watched the Boondocks? Okay,
no.
But there was a little kid named Latarian Milton, and he was a little kid that. All right, so I'm just gonna briefly read the article. So this article is about a kid named Latarian Milton. Similarly, he is well known as a child being a juvenile delinquent. Moreover, back in 2008, Milton stole his grandmother's truck and with no hesitation went on a trip through Palm Beach, Florida. But the story doesn't end there. Likewise, the short trip ended after the juvenile made a huge mess along the way. Milton damaged a hefty amount of properties, which was unforgivable. Therefore, he is well known with the nickname that he was given, Hood Rat Kid. Moreover, if you are a crime fan, you know that these kinds of stories mostly encourage kids if they have had a hard childhood. So let's get to know how Latarian spent his early childhood. Like I said, he was a bad kid because Latarian was born in 2000 on the 30th of September. He was born and raised in Palm Beach, Florida, and belongs to African-American ethnicity. Similarly, he is set off of American nationality and was raised by his grandmother. Moreover, Latarian was born to his mother, Shaniqua, who was just 16 years old at the time. Moreover, this is why he was raised by his grandmother, Zakita Stratford. Likewise, in June of 2015, Latarian was matriculated from John F. Kennedy Middle School, which is located in Riviera Beach, Florida. Therefore, this is all we can inform you of Latarian's early life. However, there is more to him than just this. Once again, as mentioned over and over again, Latarian came to the media life in early 2008. Similarly, Latarian stole his grandmother's Dodge Durango with his friend who took it for a joyride. Moreover, as two 7-year-olds, because there were 7-year-olds at the time when they did all of that, because that's what the Boondocks episode is based off of. They did huge damage. It is said that the two boys ran over 2 mailboxes and also struck 2 moving cars, which were situated near Walmart. And they also hit some cars which were parked in the Costco parking lot. The media reported that later, after Latarian admitted he was angry at his mother, furthermore, his mother is a chain smoker and he also wanted to smoke. And also, see, there's grammatical errors, but also does the hood rat stuff together with his friend. Moreover, he claims that it is fun doing bad things. That's what actually went viral back in the day. And he had a way of explaining his wrongdoing, which was lack of remorse. So the video went viral over the internet just overnight. Now it says, if you do not know yet, after 2 months oh my gosh, why is it? Okay, so 2 months after the joyride incident, the kid Latarian struck again. Moreover, this was a rather tragic time for his mother and grandmother. Furthermore, since this was a really huge case that turned the social media upside down, you may know about it, but let's get to know it in detail. It says after 2 months of stealing, 2 months after stealing the ride, in June 2008, Latarian grabbed the attention of people in Walmart after he started beating his grandmother for not buying him chicken wings. Moreover, Latarian was then sent to captivation and in the hospital. The news broke that he was subjected to mental evaluation. Now, here's my thing. This is a pure example of a straight up freaking bad kid. And you don't need multiple offenses to realize that this is just a straight up bad kid and you can't do anything about it. Now, this 10-year-old kid is a variant of the same kid. You know why? Because if people kept giving this kid excuses as far as age is concerned. And then it says, well, in August 2017, along with some friends, Letarian ordered a lift and robbed the person and then threw him out of his own car. So this is what happens when you go, oh well, he's just a kid. Because it says later he was arrested for carjacking and also robbery. This is what I'm saying. Like, dude,
wait, remind me, how old was this
bad kid? So the thing is, the very first, when he went on the joyride, which is what the Boondocks episode was based off of, he was 7 years old. He was 7 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then again, he went on to do more shit. You don't think people were saying the same thing? Oh, well, maybe, he's just a troubled kid. Maybe he just needs some help and all of that. And he kept doing the same shit over and over and over again. But the difference is, see, this kid was just stealing cars and going on joyrides and stuff like that and robbing people. This mother and beating his grandmother, as if that's not bad enough. But we're talking about a 10-year-old Wisconsin boy who shot his mother in cold freaking blood. He's worse. It's the same thing. Because where is Letarian right now? In jail. Because kids like that are just bad kids. You can't help somebody that don't want to be helped. Because you think if this kid obviously came off or gave off the energy, like, you know what? He just needs help in a push in the right direction. Like I'm pretty sure they thought with Letarian. They would have done that. But this kid, however, he lied to authorities. He lied to the legal system. He showed no remorse to his family whatsoever. Freaking was asking about the headset after he killed his mom. So again, I'm supposed to have sympathy for that when I know there's plenty of kids out there that are just like him. There's some you can do something for, but there's others that are gonna keep doing the same shit. And somebody like you need somebody else to just to do it a second time to make you realize the severity of the first.
No,
because to me, I draw the line at killing your mother. I draw the line at lying to authorities. I draw the line at that. He didn't just take his car. He didn't just take a car and go for a joyride. He didn't just take a couple cigarettes and smoke it. Okay. And then this same kid I'm talking about, Letarian, he ended up beating his grandmother, robbing people. So this is what happens when you keep little kids like that on the streets. So I'm telling you that, yeah, they could have just given him 2 freaking years and stuff like that.
I'm not talking about 2 years, though.
But I am, because I'm making a point. So they could have just given him 2 years. And I'm saying to you that I'm telling you right now, he was going to come out and do the same freaking thing again. Whatever it is, he was going to commit crimes again, because to me, all that says to me is repeat offender. That's exactly why I asked you. I said, well, what would you have said if they gave him a light sentence based off of his age, and then he came out and then he killed somebody else? Then you were gonna say, oh well, throw him in and lock away the key. But I'm saying that now because I know kids like that. Given this whole narrative, he's gonna do it again.
That's assuming. Hold on.
How was it assuming? I just gave you a popular scenario of a little kid, a little delinquent kid that just kept doing the same shit over and over and over again. The nigga went viral. He was on Boondocks. You don't think there are people that were saying the same thing that you were saying? Like, yo, he's just a kid. He probably needs help. He probably needs to be in different circumstances. Fast forward damn near 10 years later, he's still in and out of the legal system getting into trouble. Again, that could have been you in that goddamn lift. If he would have no qualms for robbing you, but then you sitting there having all the sympathy because, he's a little kid. So what? Bad kids exist.
Let me say this. This is the difference between being soft. Like some people don't discipline kids at all and don't think kids should be no consequence. I disagree. My mom used to whip my ass since I was 6 years old. It's different. What I'm talking about is, and I'm not the only one who feels this way, but his aunt was, as you was talking about, she did an interview. She was talking about how the biggest misconception about this case is that it was over a VR Oculus headset. It was recommended by his treatment providers that cell phones, electronic devices be limited because of the violent games he was playing. Again, this is what I'm saying. His defense attorneys, when they do the whole trial, they're not going to just argue his age, but they're going to argue. I watched the Law and Order case about this because they did it about a high profile one. But they was talking about how kids who are influenced by, who play violent video games, watch violent stuff, I don't know what his life was, right? But I think to paint everybody in a broad stroke, oh, he's a murderer, he's a criminal. I think the circumstance is different because I've grew up with kids whose parents let them roam around the street at 10 years old, selling drugs at 10 years old. Do you think a 10-year-old who's selling drugs deserves to be in prison for a life sentence? No, why? Because
We're not talking
yeah,
about. I'm only talk. I can only speak
but
on.
I'm using an
I can only speak
example.
on the scenario that you brought up. And
Right,
again,
right,
that's why I asked you for the source, because that way I can give a thorough
right,
assessment, and I could accurately pass judgment on the situation
right.
given all the details. And again, given all the details, I'm not batting an eye at a 60-year freaking sentence on a 10-year-old kid that killed his mom in cold freaking blood. A
Right.
kid that is a danger to society, just like
No,
Latarian was.
but hold on. Let me finish. My point, the point I'm arguing is people are going to argue the same thing about the 6-year-old kid. Throw him away, lock him up, throw away the key. And you're going to say, well, he's 6 years old. Well, some people's going to say, this kid is 10 years old. He shot a teacher in the middle of a classroom with a bunch of other kids. So some people are going to say, lock this 6-year-old up, throw away the key, charge him as an adult. Do you think a 6-year-old and a 10-year-old should be locked up, doing a substantial amount of time with adults? That's the problem I'm having is you're not teaching him. I think this kid needs consequences. I don't know what I'm sure his mom took his video games and stuff, but taking away video games and not setting boundaries for him is not teaching him. I'm not blaming her, but this
Blaming
kid,
who? The mother?
yeah, the mother that the kid who killed his mother. I'm not blaming her. But what?
First
Hold on,
of
hold on,
all,
hold on. Let me finish. Let me finish.
she put cameras in the
Right.
goddamn house because of him.
No, right. But what I'm saying is, I think this kid needs straight supervision. He needs a whole reboot, right? Some kids learn. Some like me, you get beat, you learn. Some kids don't. And I think this kid has a history of behavioral problems, and he's used to playing violent games. This is why his devices were limited. He got mad about it and killed his mother. I think this kid needs severe help, and I think he needs rehabilitation. But I don't think taking a 10-year-old. I'm not saying what he did was right at all, but it's not right to take a 10-year-old, charge him as an adult, and then lock him up for the rest of his life with a bunch of adults. He's going to get.
But you agreed to lock him up for the rest of his life if he comes out and he does it again. So what if he killed? What if he came out and killed his sister? You said lock him up and throw away the key. That's what you said.
But I say as a 10-year-old, again, a lot of people look at these cases. Yes, what he did, he committed murder, first-degree murder, absolutely. But he's 10. We're not talking about 25-year-old who knows right from wrong, who knows what's going to happen.
He knows right from wrong because the article illustrates a kid that clearly knows right from wrong. He said he knew the danger of using a gun, and literally, what little kid literally knows to shoot a warning shot at somebody?
But hold on, but that's what I mean, and that's the problem. Like when I took these classes, that's why I talk about the environment you grow up. I'm not using the example growing up in the projects as justifying, but what I'm saying is everybody who commits murder is not the same person. I think that's the problem. We can't paint just because me and you turned out as good kids don't mean the same kid deserved just because he turned out different. This 10-year-old is used to playing violent games. I don't know what his environment was when he was not in the house, but if you grow up as kids who I see kids all the time on their phones playing video games all the time. I don't know what his life was, but he's used to playing violent video games, watching violent stuff. So his first reaction,
I'm not gonna put it on. I'm not gonna put like what he chose to do at the end of the day, but as an excuse. I've been playing Grand Theft Auto since I was in middle school. But does that mean all of a sudden me playing that game and I shoot people in the head in the game means that shooting people my own mom in the head in real life is right?
No. But what I'm saying is, I don't know what they're gonna argue. I'm gonna watch how this case, and we'll come back to it because I want to see how this case unfolds. But I don't think punishing a 10-year-old like you would a 20-year-old is the right choice. Because why? I don't think the same way I did when I was 20. I'm 27 now. I don't think the same way, let alone when I was 25, that I think now. So
right.
But there's a big difference between 10 years old and an adult.
Yeah, but the thing is, you see, people like you wait for somebody to do that bullshit again. See, to me, him doing that to me says enough, and I'm not gonna wait for him. I'm not gonna give him another opportunity to kill anybody else on the street or any of his other family members, for that matter, because to me that's enough. That's why I asked you. I said, well, okay, let's say if you had your way, and then they just put him in a mental institution, gave him a year, in a detention center or some shit like that. And then he came in, let's say when he finally went home, because he's going to have to go home eventually when they let him out in that situation. And then let's say he shot his sister, his 26-year-old sister. And then I said, what would you say? And you said, yeah, put him back in jail. My thing is, I don't need him to do this, to do some bullshit again for me to realize that a kid like that belongs in jail, because kids like him are always going to do that shit again. Just like Latarian, because his joyride that went viral, that happened in 2008, 2007, 2008. In 2017, he was still robbing people. So, and I'm pretty sure between 10 years, damn near 10 years, he's had opportunities to rehabilitate himself. I'm sure, because you don't, when you're 7 years old, get somebody's car, commit all this, public damage on other people's cars and stuff like that, beat your grandmother in real life, and in the midst of that, you don't get, some kind of chances because nobody died. But you see what happens when little kids like that are left to their own devices, because you assume, oh, well, they just need help, they just need a chance. And everybody is entitled to, some opportunities to rehabilitate themselves. But when you shoot your mom, in the freaking head over an Amazon Oculus Rift headset, you freaking, you lied to the police officers.
But he's 10.
And the truth comes out that you knew what you were doing. I'm not going to have sympathy for you, because I know for a fact, if I leave you to your own devices again, you're going to do it again. And more people are going to die left to that little kid.
All right, so let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Let me ask you a question, right? You said some the bad kids, right? Let's say this a kid who steals a lot, who just, for some reason, he just got to steal. 10-year-old kid goes to a CVS, steals $300 worth of products. Do you think he deserves to sit in jail for 2 years?
How old is he?
10. He's
10 years old. See, but we're not talking about stealing. We're talking about killing somebody. So if you're gonna call a spade, then compare a spade and a spade. Don't get an apple and try to compare it to an orange, because we're talking about a little kid that shot his mom in the head. We're not talking about stealing, because hold up, because stealing is not an offense that warrants 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Because he's on trial, because this just happened recently. This happened like 2 weeks ago. So he's on trial, I'm guessing, or the sentence on the table is up to 60 years, right?
Right.
Exactly. So again, if you're going to make a comparison, then make an actual comparison, because you can't say, oh, well, if he sold $300 of products, from CVS, do I believe that he, because it's not the same. Okay. My energy for that is not going to be the same for a kid that shot his mom in the head and then lied about it. Okay. Because again, when you want to talk about innocence and little kids, a kid is not going to lie about it. And I've said this like 30 times. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I use this example. The 6-year-old, right? There's people who are going to argue he shot a teacher. She's in critical condition. She's a mother. He shot this teacher in the middle of a classroom. Mm-hmm. Lock him up, throw away the key. Do you think that should happen?
Okay. The reason why I was very adamant as far as the 10-year-old kid is concerned, and that's why I kept asking for the source, because I said I need the story. All right, because once I got the details, the kid, everything that I read on that article incriminated this boy to freaking to no end. All right, now this little kid, again, the very first thing I said was there is a punishment in order, because they already said that the legal system is pretty much not designed. Yeah, it says it's very rare, and it's not something that the legal system is really designed or positioned to deal with. Because how often do you see, 6-year-olds in court, in these scenarios for this? Like they don't even know what to do. And this is the Associated Press. So if they don't know what to do, how am I going to know what to do in that situation when there's no details? You know what I'm saying? There's no, like, the amount of, information about what happened, the backstory is not parallel to the 10-year-old kid where all of this stuff pretty much came out. So I can't say that, my attitude, it can't be the same, because I don't know yet. Do I know if when the 6-year-old was brought to the police station, to the authorities, do I know if he lied or if he was straight up? Did he say why? I don't know, but this kid said why. Everything is available. So I can't honestly answer that question until I have all the evidence, presented. But I'm going to say, if this little kid is lying and said, oh, I don't know, let's say he said, oh, the teacher, made a joke about me. I didn't think it was funny. So I just, busted cap up in her. Like, I'm not going to have sympathy for his ass either. And even prior to that, I said, a little kid, don't just have a little kid go and commit freaking a school shooting, which is already serious in itself, and then just put him back home in his bed and tuck him in. I said, no, there's a punishment in order relative to, again, the offense and all the situation, all the factors involved. Because I'm not only judging this little kid based off of his age, I'm judging him based off of his actions, what he did, what he didn't do. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm fair on all sides. Facts. Yeah, facts. And this kid, 10-year-old, your boy, I have no sympathy for this dude. He's a bad kid. He's a rotten child. And again, if left to his own devices, according to his family, this is not even a good kid. So that just tells me if I send him back home, he's going to keep doing bullshit. Someone else is going to die. If again, left to his own, especially if there's a gun in the house, you don't think a little kid like that going to use it again? There's no negotiating with terrorists. And this little kid at 10 years old, he's a terrorist. And I don't negotiate with those. So once you kill your mom, and then according to your family, they're not even vouching for you. Your family is not vouching for you. So as the judge, what am I going to do? So, at this point, and I already know that when like in movies, it always taught me, get rid of the bad guy, get rid of him. Because there's always those moments in the movies where, saying the bad guy, he's on the rocks and he's hanging off the ledge. And he's like, oh, give me another chance. And then when you give him your hand, he tries to pull you down with him. Or he gets right back to the bullshit that he was doing prior to that. So, again, I don't need somebody if the mom was enough. His own mother was enough. There's nothing about the situation other than his age. He has nothing going for himself in your eyes but his age. That is a fact. He has nothing going for himself. And his mother dying was bad enough. There are some kids out here, there are people out here that you cannot negotiate with them because they're going to keep doing bullshit over and over and over again. And it's like, how many times does somebody have to do you wrong for you to realize, okay, this is just not a good person, period. That's a fact. That's a fact. Because let's say that's like a racist person or some shit.
No.
If I know you was out here, saying back in the day, freaking like burning freaking crosses and raping people and doing shit like that, there's nothing that tells me you wouldn't do it again. That's a fact. Once you're a criminal and you cross that line, and especially, think about it, there's people in the army who, when they talk about shooting somebody, like that's some shit that probably gives them PTSD, just having to kill somebody. Like most people, they know, like, yo, like when you kill somebody, like that shit is no joke. And ain't no takebacks. And then this is a kid that just had no remorse whatsoever. So if he has no remorse, then for his own mom, then why would I have any sympathy for him or qualms for putting his ass away from society? Because I have to protect his family and other people and members of society who would be around this dude from him causing them bodily harm, if not killing them. Because again, when you're dealing with bad people, they're always going to be bad people. And that was the point that I was making as far as Android 16 is concerned. There are just some bad people out here.
Yes, but
and the thing is, I know exactly who they are. You want to wait for somebody to do some shit again for you to realize, oh, okay, you know what? All right, nah. Me, on the other hand, it doesn't get much worse than somebody killing their own mom and then their family telling me that they didn't even care. They didn't even cry. They didn't care. They didn't care. It doesn't get much worse than that. So why do I need to wait for him? Because if I give him because I already know this, if I give him,
but you're assuming because
2 years probation, he has to do community service or whatever. He's got to, go to a mental health institution. He has to take anger management classes. He has to do this progressive, reconstructive, rehabilitative stuff, right? But then again, once all of that's over, shit, honestly, even in the midst, and when he goes home and stuff like that, he's gonna act up again. And I know how people are. They're gonna act up again. And me, again, when you murdered your own mom in cold blood over Amazon products and then a freaking Oculus Rift headset, he's gonna do it again. And the only thing, because you have a shoestring argument.
No, I don't. No.
Your only argument is the fact that he's 10 years old. Yeah, and that don't hold up.
Yes, clearly, it does.
Clearly it didn't hold up. Because what you gonna go defend him? you're gonna go defend him too? Because what they're gonna tell you? What is his family gonna tell you? If you had a conversation with his family, what you gonna say to them? Oh, well, he's 10 and he deserves another chance. He's not one of them. That kid is one of them.
Hold on. Let me say this.
Bottom of the barrel, dark abyss than that.
No, I say when it comes to consequences for him, he deserves consequences. Right? I think he deserves a whole bunch. You want
them to lock him up, but don't throw away the key. Let him out.
No, don't throw away the key. No, because let me say this. There's been time our justice system has always treated black people as they're never going to be rehabilitated. So why even give them a second chance? A lot of black people sitting in jail for 50 years for petty crimes, for selling weed. So now we're telling people, oh, if you do a crime, we don't think you're going to change. So you're going to be stuck in prison. That can happen to you. Let's say you get caught doing something stupid and someone says, you know what? I think he's going to do this thing again. So I'm going to give him extra time just because. No, that's not right. Especially when we're talking about kids. All I'm arguing, I don't disagree with you. I think he deserves consequences. I don't think 2 years of stop on arrest for this kid is going to help him. But what I'm saying is, I don't think we're holding a child to that same standard as an adult. It's the thing. His family may say things about this kid. I do think there's problems with this kid. He has a lot of anger issues. He has a lot of problems. But like I say all the time, like when I watch the teen series I was talking about on YouTube, yeah, maybe you should check it out if you want to. But a lot of these kids committed heinous crimes, right? But when they sit down and they talk, one of them got paroled, and he was talking about his crime. He killed his mother, 15-year-old kid, killed his mother, and all this stuff. But when he talks about his crime as a 50-some-year-old man, he talks about how he wished that he never would have done it. He was acting immature. He didn't think. He was irrational. This is a 15-year-old. Now we're talking about a 10-year-old. We're telling this 10-year-old kid, you know what? You committed this. You're not getting out anytime soon. You're going to die in prison. And I don't think that's the right thing. I think give this boy the help he needs. Like I said, there's some kids who may be going through the same thing as this kid, but their parents may have a stronger grasp on the issue. Now, if I have a son, right, he has issues like this kid. He can't play no games. He likes violent games, take away his games. I got to monitor him. I could put cameras up and take his games, but if I'm not paying attention to him, anything can happen. Now, I think, unfortunately, this kid doesn't, he has behavior issues. He acts out of anger. I have a brother like that who's 25 years old, very angry. He's very angry. He'll fight anybody. He's very angry. But he hasn't been taught how to deal with his anger. He hasn't been taught. I've seen it. I've been the same way. I've learned how to deal with it. He hasn't been taught that. Luckily, he hasn't committed a crime, but he's an adult. So if he do something, he deserves to get locked up, unfortunately. But to tell a 10-year-old, all right, you killed your mother. All right, you going to the big boy jail.
And lied about it. Also, factor that in, though. Factor those in, though. Factor those in, though.
I mean, adults
he lied about it and he didn't feel bad about it, and his family wouldn't even stick up for him. So when you talk about the scenario, let's actually use the details presented and talk about it.
But I'm breaking this down. Adults lie all the time. So to hold a kid to a standard as an adult online, I mean, adults lie to police all the time. Lying about killing your mom. Why you killed her? Lie about
again, we're not just talking about any old little white lie. Okay, we're talking about what he actually lied about. This is what I'm saying to you. Like, again, he didn't just go steal something. Like, we have to be mindful. He shot his mother in the head. It's because you're like detached from it because you don't know these people. You wasn't there. Me, I'm really trying to put myself as close to that situation and how serious that shit is, because these people were waking up to whoever this woman was being in his house every day. And the little motherfucker shot her. and she's not there anymore. Like that's how serious this is. A very serious situation, and I feel very bad for that family. I really do. And then to the point where if they're not saying anything, they're not sticking up for him because they just told the truth. You going mad hard over a little kid that these people don't have any good things to say because they said, he didn't cry, he didn't feel anything. And then right after that, he said, can I, where's my package? Where's my package? So again, like death is not killing people. Losing a family member, that shit is no fucking joke. That shit is no joke. And when you're dealing with a little kid that, again, is old enough, and he even admitted it, that he knew what was up, that is old enough to know what's actually going on in this situation, and he doesn't care. So why should I care? Because I'm a very like big advocate on, like, if you don't even want to help yourself, then why should I help you? Because when he showed up to the precinct, all he had to do was just say, I shot her. Help facilitate the process. You know how many tax dollars they probably wasted trying to get the truth out of this guy?
But he's 10.
Tax dollars. Real tax. What'd you say?
But he's 10. Again,
it doesn't
adults lie all the time, dude. But
it absolutely does not.
It does matter.
That's you don't have no ground. You're not standing on no ground. You have nothing beneath you no more. Because I debunked everything that you're saying. Everything you keep telling me is he's 10. But you have nothing literally to dispute because anything that I'm saying outside of the fact that he's 10 years old. Your argument, why? Your argument henceforth has no merit. Literally, you have no teeth. You have no teeth in this argument whatsoever. Your argument, your points literally have no teeth because all you keep telling me is he's 10, but he's 10. But I'm giving you all the real details, and you keep telling me,
right?
But he's 10,
hold on.
But he's 10, and I'm telling you that if this happened to you, would you be saying the same thing? If I was
killed by my son,
God forbid, if that was your mom, because you gotta understand something like that's serious. This
is serious, but nobody.
And when you're dealing with a little kid, what if you were his dad? It's just like he's in the precinct wasting tax dollars because he's in there lying. So I'm pretty sure it took them. That didn't happen all in one sitting because when they questioned him, they probably had to question all these other types of people. And when you go and you pay for something and you pay taxes, that money goes to that. And they wasted tax dollars trying to squeeze the truth out of a little kid who knew exactly what he was doing. A little kid. It doesn't. You see, that's what I'm saying. You're like a broken record.
Because you're not letting me explain.
You have not presented. But the thing is, we've been talking all of this long, and your argument has not progressed anywhere further other than the fact that he's 10 years old, and I don't think he should. And I can't wait. Hold on. The thing is, I cannot wait for people to hear this because I want to know what other people think about what you're saying. Because again, it doesn't stand on nothing. It doesn't stand on nothing. It's like my shit. My shit is like a freaking, I don't know, well put together, well-oiled machine. Your argument is equivalent to a stick figure.
No, because no.
We get it. But then there's all these other blatant facts that you're just choosing to turn a blind eye to.
No, because
10, like 10 is this it's this freaking legendary number or some shit like that. No, it's not. No, it's not. A woman died because this little kid wanted to play. Like, I wouldn't even have sympathy for me if I pulled some bullshit like that.
No, you saying that now as an adult. Hold on. Let me say this. Because now, let me use this example. This 6-year-old just shot the teacher. Let's say tomorrow the teacher don't survive, she dies. The exact argument that the police said the 6-year-old intentionally shot the teacher. So should the 6-year-old be sentenced to 60 years old, 60 years in federal prison as an adult? That's exactly my point. You're telling me your points are valid, but we're talking about two. I'm not holding a 6 and
it's not just valid. It's correct.
No, it's correct.
What? You know why? And you also know why? Because again, if this little 6-year-old kid, let's say he goes to the precinct and then he lies about where he got the gun from, or he lies about why he shot the teacher, or he lies about, if he just lies in general. And I told you like an hour ago, I said little kids who are innocent, they don't do that.
That's not true.
A little kid's hands is not gonna be covered in blood, and then he gonna be hiding it. A little kid is gonna say, look at my hands. That's what I'm saying that figuratively speaking. That's what little kids do.
That's
a little kid
not
true. Yes, it is true. That's what innocent kids do. Because I already told you a while ago that age is not indicative of innocence in all kids. It's not. Clearly, it's not. And that's why I asked for the source. Because, and clearly, this is not an innocent kid we're dealing with. We're not. Would you know him from somewhere?
No,
like,
no,
yo,
but
this is not
no,
a little innocent
no.
kid that we're dealing with.
Hold
We're
on.
not. Because a little innocent kid, again, if I'm a detective and you lie to me, the narrative is going to change.
No,
It's going to change. If I ask the kid, I said, what's the story? And then he gives me story A. And then I go and I question all these other witnesses, the complaints of neighbors and all of that. And then I come back to this kid and I say, all right, tell me what happened. And then he gives me story B. What does that say about this little kid? What does that say about him? That's because you know what that is? You know what that is? That's called manipulation.
No, you're holding the kid to the same standard as an adult. When you lie to
somebody, you are manipulating their perceptions of you in order to facilitate a certain outcome to your liking. That means at 10 years old, this kid knows how to manipulate. He knows how to unplug the house surveillance because he don't want them to know what he's doing.
No.
Let's talk about who we're really talking about here.
Hold on.
Let's talk about it. Because like I said, I have no qualms or scruples for that 6-year-old kid if he were to show up and lie about it.
But again, a police is not going to look at a 10 or a 6-year-old and hold them to the same standard as a 20-year-old. That's what I'm saying. The facts may be the same.
But I don't even know why you keep bringing up
because you're saying the kid. No, hold on.
And none of that. Because I'm saying that all the details warrant the sentencing that he's receiving. That's on the table.
No, but what I'm saying is because you keep saying he's lied.
I can't wait for this to drop.
Because you're saying the 10-year-old lied. The 10-year-old lied. What 10-year-old don't lie? All 10-year-olds lie.
Lies about that? No, killing his fucking mom?
Hold on. We have adults who lie all the time, and then you catch
comparing little kids to adults. We're talking about a kid who lied about killing his mom.
Yes, but he's a kid.
He lied about it. He told the cops because I'm remembering now because I don't have the article up. He lied about. He said that I was twiddling the gun on my fingers and then it accidentally shot. He's a fucking liar. He's a fucking liar. He's a fucking liar. Like, let's just face it. He's a fucking liar.
But he's 10.
It doesn't matter. There's certain things that you lie about, and there's certain things that you definitely don't lie about. I'm gonna quote Stevie Wonder because he says a little white lie turns into a black one. That is a fact.
I use the example.
But let me ask you something real quick. In the court of law, do you really think that if you lie about anything, that it's gonna help your case whatsoever? Or people are gonna think that once you get caught in a lie, do you think people are going to view you as like a good citizen or somebody who's worthy of a second chance, especially if you're lying about murder?
If you're a kid, I think people give you a pass.
But that's even worse. But
you're a kid. No, because
they're not going to give him a pass because his family says, yo, he's not even acting like a little kid. A little kid, when they find out that their mom dies, the little kid should be distraught. A little kid is distraught. A little kid is not going to be. A little kid's going to ask about his mom.
He's a troubled kid.
Not the Oculus Rift, virtual reality headset that he ordered off of his mom's posthumous freaking Amazon account. Let's really talk about what he's lying about. So I'm saying,
all right.
Be like, oh well, everybody lies and adults lie, so it's okay. Well, clearly, what does that say about?
No, I'm not saying
murdering their mom.
No, I'm not saying. Again, all right. With your example, let's say everything you're saying is true. This kid deserves to be locked up. Now let's say this 6-year-old.
Just like you said.
No, hold on.
But you said the same thing though. You said if he gets out and he does it again, then he deserves to be locked up.
Exactly, because you gotta give a 10-year-old. For instance,
that's bullshit. That's bullshit. That is bullshit. I'm not giving a rapist an opportunity to rape somebody else.
No.
Him doing the same shit. Murder and rape is just as bad. They are parallel. So if I got you in court here and then you rape somebody, why would I give you an opportunity to go back out on the streets to do it again? It's the same thing with pedophiles. It's the same thing with sex offenders. These guys are repeat offenders. That's why they're at the bottom of the barrels of society. That's why they are the way that they are, because they're always going to be like that. Once a pedophile, once a rapist, always a rapist. Once a murderer, always a freaking murderer.
All right, so hold on.
About a little kid. You got soldiers who kill people. We're talking about people, adults, because you want to bring up adults. Let's bring up adults. We have adults who served in the army. People who work in police officers and stuff like that. And let's say good police officers, not all of them. And they've killed people. And that shit keeps them up at night. We're talking about a little kid who shot his mother in the freaking head while she was doing laundry after his little quote unquote warning shot. And he didn't care. So why would I say Let me give with all this heinous freaking, details presented. Why would the conclusion that I come to is I should give him another chance
Hold on.
to do it again?
Let me explain. Hold on.
Do it again?
But hold on.
Oh my gosh.
So no, let me ask you. So let's say with the 6-year-old, it comes out he lied to the police.
Oh,
man. We all know he brought the gun. He shot the teacher. The teacher doesn't survive. Let's say she dies, or let's say she does survive. But people argue he brought the gun to school. He knew what he was doing. He told her, he lied to the cops and then admitted he got mad at his teacher and shot her. Do you think that's the 6-year-old should be in prison for the rest of his life?
Let me tell you something.
And you can't. And
let me tell you something. And I'm gonna tell you. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. If and mind you, and once I brought this up, it already changed my perceptions on, again, younger kids, because, and again, I'm gonna ask people, because this is actually a good topic. All right. Because little kids, when I grow up, are not the little kids that are growing up right now. So you're telling me, you're telling me that a little kid that has the consciousness enough to know to lie about serious shit. Okay. Why am I gonna feel bad about a bad kid getting what the fuck he deserves? What the heck? Because this is the thing. If I'm a good person and I have nothing to hide, then what the fuck am I lying for? Especially if I'm an innocent kid. If I shot her, at least, like I said, to tell the little kids, like I said, little kids, they tell the truth. They'll just be like, yeah, I shot him. Like, they'll probably be, and the thing is, and on top of that, an innocent kid is not really going to have any perception of what they've done. So when a little kid is caught red-handed with blood on his hands, a kid is not going to be hiding them. If anything, kid's just going to be standing there looking at his hands like, what's going on? Like, what did I just do? A little kid's not even going to know. But your boy, you know what I'm saying? Your boy from Wisconsin and shit knew exactly what he was doing. So again, I don't have, and I told you before, I don't have scruples or doubts or any regrets or anything like that. But let's say scruples. I don't have scruples for a little kid that is willing to lie about attempted murder, attempted homicide, freaking killing somebody. I'm not, because that woman, she's a black woman at that. Okay. His family, she's not coming back. His family didn't have good things to say about him, because I'm pretty sure if he was really sad or something, they would be like, you know what? I honestly think, because it would have been very apparent in the article. If he really didn't mean to do this shit, I'm pretty sure it would have been the first thing in that article. Okay? Because even if you're black, I mean, if you're a little kid, you can sort of finagle that in there a little bit. But guess what? All of that shit, and I'm pretty sure the complainant in that article that was mentioned several times was somebody close. Okay, that knows this kid. Because as far as I'm concerned, as long as he's under the same roof as them, they are in danger. And I don't even feel comfortable, like, as a man, and I'm hearing this, I don't even feel comfortable having this kid, in the same roof with them. No, I don't.
Well,
I told you that before, and I told you that again. If the 6-year-old does stupid shit, does dumb shit, and you want to act like an adult, because that's what adults do. Adults manipulate people's perceptions to facilitate. That's what the fuck lying is. That's what lying is. So that is exactly what lying is.
Let me ask you a question.
If you're a 6-year-old and you know to lie to adults about some serious shit, I don't have sympathy for you.
Wait. No, you got, hold on. All right. But that, if like little kids lying about serious shit, all right, for instance, just little kids that lie about adults sexually assaulting them, should they be in trouble for lying to the police?
Yes, they should fucking be in trouble for fucking lying. That is a fact. Because it's fucking serious. Yes, it is. If you lie, that's like the people the kids that accuse Michael Jackson and stuff like that. The parents who told them, who put them up to that shit, that's an example of them lying. Why? Because their parents manipulated them to lie. That is a mature tactic. That is a mature tactic. That is a fact. So again, if I look at your intentions behind your freaking lying, again, this situation at its most blatant description is a little kid, 2 kids, 6-year-old and a 10-year-old standing with bloody hands. And then the 10-year-old kid was hiding his hands. Okay? Was hiding his hands. And I'm telling you, from my understanding of kids, little kids don't do that. And I also gave you 2 instances of me trying to pull fast ones on adults. And when I was lying, I knew what the fuck I was doing. Needless to say, about if you shot somebody because you were trying to spend your mom's money on an Oculus freaking virtual reality headset. So I'm telling you, this little kid knows what he's doing. In your mind, for whatever nonsensical reason, you think that this kid is innocent just because he's 10. Just because he's 10.
Hold on.
Is that your favorite number or some shit like that? Because again, this shit don't hold up. This shit does not hold up.
Can I explain?
But your argument, I'm telling you again, your argument does not hold up in this symposium of a discussion, and it's not gonna hold up in the legal system. And it didn't hold up to his family members either. So I still question what argument does what grounds do you stand on outside of the fact that he's 10?
Because age matters.
It doesn't hold up.
So are we gonna use?
You're telling yourself, but the thing is, it's only holding up. It only makes sense, and it's only holding up because you're telling yourself that it makes sense.
No,
you're telling yourself that it holds up, but in reality, it don't.
Hold on. There's already people lobbying for this 10-year-old kid because they don't feel 60 years for a 10-year-old is right punishment.
I don't give a shit what they're doing. People are entitled to have whatever opinion that they want. Don't make it a right opinion, though.
Right.
What if it happened to them? What if it happened? We're talking about a black woman who died, who got shot. Who got shot over Amazon, who got shot over
a 10-year-old kid.
And then the little boy wasted tax dollars and he was lying about it.
He's a 10-year-old kid. You're holding him to the same standard as an adult.
How old you are. You shoot your own goddamn mother in the head and you lie about this shit just because you're 10 years old. I'm supposed to think you're innocent? Get out of here, bro.
So But now what you're saying now, if people
my argument has been consistent, so I didn't now that you're saying, because I ain't saying nothing that I ain't said the last freaking 45 freaking minutes.
No,
so like
I agree. Okay,
I could, but the thing is, I could do this all day. But I'm telling you that your argument has not progressed past
because my argument
because he's 10 years old. But outside of that, you haven't said shit.
Yes,
you ain't said shit that you ain't said 45. I've given you. I've only gone off the facts, not my personal. Just the facts. This is the facts. This is the facts, because that's why I asked you for the source. I can understand if I didn't even know what happened and I'm saying all of this shit, but I asked you for the source. So I'm going off of the same pieces of evidence that you went off of. And my shit is the fact of the matter is this little kid lied. And that is the only reason, because this is what I'm saying.
But you gotta let me talk.
I'm not thinking, or I didn't come to a different conclusion than, let's say, the judges or prosecution system over there in Wisconsin, because that's the only reason why that sentence, that 60-year sentence, whatever it is on the table, because they drew the same conclusion that I came to. Yeah, we're not dealing with the average 10-year-old. Because these are not normal 6 and 10-year-olds. Normal 6 and 10-year-olds don't get guns and shoot people. They don't do it. We're already dealing with anomalies. Right, because they already said that the legal system is not even designed to deal with dealing with little ass kids in the legal system. So we're already dealing with different kids. But you're trying to shove a rotten apple in there with regular apples, and I'm saying you can't do that.
I'm saying, my point is this. Okay, let's say we go by example. Every little kid who commits a serious crime like these two little kids deserve to spend the rest of their natural life behind bars with a bunch of adults. Now you got a 10-year-old who isn't being helped, who isn't getting treatment, is being put in prison with a bunch of adult men who's going to take advantage of him. Now you're putting this little kid's life at risk because, okay, I agree with you. What he did was wrong. But if we're going according to your logic, the 6-year-old kid deserves 50 years in prison. Now, what happens? Should the 6-year-old be charged as an adult because he lied to the police? Come on, it opens up a door that I don't know.
No, it don't. It only whatever door you're talking about, it's only being open because you say it is, not because it in fact is. Because the bottom line is, again, murder, killing somebody is a very serious.
But you know why I say that?
The thing is, again, legally, you can't just. In my course, like I said, you can't just go and say, "Oh, I killed somebody," but because I'm a little kid, it's all good. Like,
I'm not saying it's all good.
Because again, by your logic, they deserve to go to jail for 50, 20, 60 years or whatever if they do it again. I'm saying the difference between me, that's what you said.
No, you gotta let me explain.
The difference between me and you is the fact that I'm not gonna wait for this kid to go and shoot another one of his freaking family members and stuff like that. And then I gave you a real life, parallel scenario of that Lamilton kid who was basically, again, a kid who started screwing up at 7 years old. And then, so from 2007 to 2017, he's been screwing up. So that's what I'm saying.
Has he been put
a
in
kid like
prison
that, when you
before?
leave little kids like that on the street, they're going to keep doing the
No,
same shit over
but-
and over and over and over and
Hold
over
on.
again because they got that shit from somewhere. And it's solidified in their mind subconsciously to the point where they're actually doing this shit now. So you got a kid that has been having violent impulses in his mind for a certain amount of time, because for it to be January, that means this had to have been in his mind for 6 months plus at least. But because they say thoughts becomes feelings becomes words becomes action. So there's a filter that these things are going through. Okay, so for that 6-year-old kid to have done that shit just recently, that means this was on the table a while ago.
But facts. I would say this.
Facts. Come on. And I'm saying that yes, in some instances, you're gonna have kids who might can. You know what I'm saying? It just depends. But what I'm saying is the difference as of right now between the 6-year-old and the 10-year-old is I don't know if the 6-year-old is advanced enough to fucking lie and omit truths and you know what I'm saying, and try to manipulate and stuff like that, like your boy did in Wisconsin.
But I would say this. I watch a lot of court cases. I read about a lot of this stuff, especially when it comes to teenagers committing crimes like this, even worse. In 2012, a bunch of judges changed the rules. I think it was the Supreme Court changed the rules because a lot of teenagers were getting death sentences for committing heinous murders, which I agree they deserve punishment. But a lot of these judges say,
give me like 2 seconds. I just have to take a piss really bad. Hold on, my bad.
Yeah, you good.
My bad. Oh my gosh.
I think my all I'm saying is, I think if I use myself as an example, me and a 10-year-old kid, let's say we both commit the same crime, we both kill our families, right? We have the same facts. We both, have anger issues, and we lied to the police, expressed no remorse. Now, do you think that me and the 10-year-old should be put in the same prison doing the same amount of time, for the same crime? Yes, the facts are the same, but the problem is I have the capacity to think before I act. The 10-year-old, yeah, he may know right from wrong, but he don't. There's a reason why a lot of times teenagers, they get sentences reduced or they get time cut because judges look at the case and say, okay, this kid was 15 years old, so we need to give him a chance to learn from his actions because his brain isn't fully developed as, someone who's 25, 35, 40. So a 40-year-old who commits the same crime this 10-year-old did, he deserves to be locked up away from prison. Why? Because he has the capacity to make those judgments not to do the crime. A 10-year-old doesn't. Yeah, he may know right from wrong, but he's not thinking the same way we are. We may think, okay, if I commit this crime, I'm about to be put in prison for the rest of my life. My mom is gone. I'm not getting this little game system that I wanted that my mom refused to give me. This 10-year-old is only thinking about that game, to play that video game. And I think all I'm saying is he deserves punishment. But I don't think 60 years for a 10-year-old, let alone the 6-year-old, some people are going to advocate the same thing. Lock him up, throw away the key, give him, 45 years in prison for shooting his teacher. I just don't think for a 10 or 6-year-old that should be. I think give them, years, but give them some treatment while they're in prison. Give them some rehabilitation treatment. Give them a time to learn from the action. Tell them about the crime. Tell them what they did, the consequences of their actions, and let them grow and mature. Because I'm telling you, a 10-year-old is not going to think the same way when he's 15. When he's 25.
Don't know that. You can't.
We don't know that.
You don't know that. But the thing is,
but we also don't know.
My rhetorical question still remains the same. So again, give him years. Okay, give him 3 years according to you.
No, more than that. I'm not saying 3 years.
What you said years. You didn't give me a number. So, all right, so
I would say a 10-year-old. I say.
What do you think is appropriate?
I say at least right now, if he completes give him like rehabilitation class and all that, 20 years, and then see what happens.
20 years?
Yeah,
that's still, that's still a long fucking time. Like that's what I'm saying.
It's a long time, but
either way. So according to you, it's because whether you're in jail for 20 years or freaking 50 or 60
years, it's a big difference.
But here's the point that I'm making. A whole chunk of your life is gone, regardless. regardless. So, and I'm saying to you that homeboy could still come out of jail and then do the same, still commit a crime. And so that's the point that I'm making.
But
That's
not,
the
but
point that I'm making, because you're still, because either way, so these people that you're saying that are lobbying for whatever this kid's name is to be out of trouble. So you're saying that
no, they're
their
not
argument.
advocating for him to be out of trouble. They're advocating that 60 years is too much because
Okay,
what you're
okay,
saying,
okay. But so either, because to me 20 years, I 20 years is fine. It doesn't fucking matter. Just
right?
throw his ass in there. See, this whole entire time, I thought you were saying that like he should be in jail for like, two, 3
No,
years or
no,
some shit,
no.
or some shit like that. Because either way, his childhood is gone. So in essence, you agree with me, because all I'm saying is put his ass in jail, because again, 20 years, 30, 40, whatever, he need to be in there long enough to understand what the fuck happened.
Right. And that's all
What
I'm
the fuck happened?
that's all I'm saying. I'm not
Yeah,
saying
yeah, because I've been saying 20 years, 30, whatever. Because to me, he need to be in there for a long ass time, because that is a crime, that is an offense that between 1 to 10 years, 1 to 15 is not gonna fix. It's not
no.
gonna fix, because in my opinion, people like that are just gonna come out and do it again.
Right.
If they're still sane, on the other side of jail, you know what I'm saying? Either way, he's a rotten apple. And 20 years, I mean, because again, I thought you were saying like, oh, he should only be in there, he should only get rehabilitation, probation, and all this type of shit. But then these people, to me, 20 and 60 years, that to me, that shit is the same, in my opinion. Because your ass in jail for decades. Your ass is
It,
still in jail for decades. So I don't really know what these people are even really lobbying for, because them saying, oh, don't put him in for 60, put him in for 20. I mean, shit, his ass still going to be in there for decades. So it doesn't really matter, because y'all all agree that his ass should be in jail, which is pretty much what I've been saying this whole entire time.
but all I'm saying, I don't know what these people lobbying for, but my only point was 60 years is basically telling this kid you basically going to live the rest of your life in prison. All I'm saying is I think he deserves a second chance, because a lot of the justice system has shown what, no matter your circumstances, if you commit a certain type of crime, you're going to jail no matter what, and you're not coming out. And I don't think that's right, especially when we're talking about, impressionable children. If he turns out to be a Ted Bundy like, when if he ever gets out and he does the same thing, then obviously something's wrong with him. But I think to say, oh, he committed this crime, he's never going to change, so we might as well keep it. I don't think that's fair. You know why? Because there's black people who got locked up and during the crack era for selling a little weed, and they won't get out of prison because some people think, oh, you will never change. And I'm like, come on.
That has more so to do with racial bias and the
Right, and he's a black
inequity
kid.
in the inequities in our freaking legal system anyway. But that's a whole another entire
No, yeah, right.
conversation, pretty much. But again, all I've been saying is his ass need to go to fucking jail. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, because you were saying pretty much he shouldn't go to jail. That's what you were
No,
saying.
no. All I was arguing was the time. I don't think a 10-year-old should get sentenced to the same amount of time as an adult.
To me, 20 and 60 ain't really that big a difference, because again, you're sitting in jail for decades, and that's still a long ass time. I mean, you're saying he should come out, in his 20s. Gee, sure, but that's what I've been saying anyway. Because
Yeah,
if we go back, we rewind the clip, I've been saying, yeah, throw his ass in jail 20, 30, 40, 50, but throw the motherfucker in jail, because, Wisconsin boy, yeah, he need to be in there.
I'm curious to see what people think about this, because I think we had a good discussion. I think this is a very controversial topic because it's not something we hear about often. But for me, I do think there are some evil people out there. Are kids capable of being evil? Absolutely. But I think at some point we have to give kids a chance to grow up to be an adult and see how they act. Unfortunately, if he grows up, he gets out and he commits another crime, well, then maybe your point was proven. But I think we have to allow him to grow, to get to that point and show whether he can change. Because this convicted murderers, who's been out. There was the dude, the Pain and Phil. I don't know if you ever watched that movie, Pain and Full, but that's based off a true story. Harlem. one of the dudes that commit all these types of murders, he was actually out. He got out, and he was a teenager when he went in. He got out. And he didn't really commit no
Who,
crime.
Rico?
I forgot who. I think so.
The guy who played the guy who Cameron played?
I think so. Him, yeah. But like he committed murders all around New York, and he was a teenage drug dealer, murderer. And he got out and he was living a productive lifestyle. Unfortunately, he was doing reckless stuff on his bike in Harlem, and that
Yeah, that was Rico.
his life.
That was Rico.
Yeah, but like that's a case of a kid who committed some unfortunate crimes, as a teenager and came out as an adult and made better choices with his life. I'm just saying, a 10-year-old, I just don't think it's right to throw him in prison with a bunch of adults.
Man, he killed his mom. I'm sorry.
No, I agree.
It doesn't get much worse than that. And again, if this dude never saw the light of day, I mean, I really wouldn't care because homie, you killed your mom and you shot a warning shot at your mom, dog. Like I said, I really don't give a shit. So if his ass gets 60 freaking years, he gets 60 freaking years. And then maybe when he finally freaking gets out, he'll have the perception of I don't know. I honestly I don't sense that he would feel bad about it at all. I'm sorry, because jail, like nah,
it changes you. I think a lot of I watched
yeah,
I mean,
okay.
I watched DJ Vlad. There was a dude, I forgot his name.
Oh yeah, you like DJ Vlad. DJ Vlad is an asshole. I realized you said that shit during the Kai Cenat thing. I don't rock with DJ Vlad, bro. You gotta stop that shit because you black.
No, I don't like him, but I do watch it because he'll interview people who've done decades in prison and stuff, and like there was this one dude who went on DJ Vlad. He has his own YouTube channel. That's how I knew he was on Vlad. But he talks about prison. He went in when he was 16. He did 30 years in federal prison, and he came out. And he was talking about how, when he went in as a 16, 17-year-old teenager, he went in jail, thought he was going to run things, he was going to own stuff. And then, a couple years in, he started to realize as he's growing up and maturing, I don't want to be in here. I want to go out. I learned my mistakes. I want to become a better person. But that came with time. I think a 10-year-old ain't at a time where, I think he has behavior issues and he has some issues. Now, if 10 years from now, he's still acting the same way, then maybe that's a discussion that
he's got. He's just an idiot. Like I said, whatever happens to him, I could care less, because like I said, you killed your mom. You're freaking despicable. You're like the bottom of the barrel of society. When he does go to jail, they need to put him under that motherfucker in solitary confinement where he could just stew and decay and rot where he freaking belongs. Because a black woman is not here because of that dumbass, and I will never condone that shit.
No, I agree with you. I just, for me,
I personally, I don't think he's deserving of a second chance because of the nature of the way that he killed his mom. Again, all of that presented, I don't fucking like this guy. And honestly, like if I saw him, I would probably like just gag because people like him are just disgusting. You know what I'm saying? We lost Jason David Frank, but yet we got little kids waste of life and waste of space like him walking around. We don't have Michael Jackson or Prince anymore, but we got this guy walking around. We just lost freaking Kevin Conroy, but we got this little kid walking around. Like I said, absolute wasteoid, waste of space. Like I said, they just need to hurry up with that verdict. If I hear about it, I'll have a couple of laughs. I'll probably giggle a little bit and go on about my life. But I don't like this guy. Nope.
No, you're right. I mean, everybody, I'm not saying you're wrong for your opinion. I used to feel I have a strong opinion on death penalty. I think some people deserve it. I think a lot of people deserve it. I think some people don't deserve a second chance. All I'm saying, for me, when I look at this situation, I remember a time when I was in foster care, people used to say, oh, he going to end up dead or in jail. And a lot of people used to just think that because people treat, especially black minorities, as, they're going to be criminals when they grow up. It's no hope in saving him. Now, unfortunately, he committed a horrible crime, and he's going to have to live with that, no matter if he gets out or not. All I'm saying is, when you're 10 years old, you may not have the same rationale as when he's 30. When he looks back, he'd be like, damn, I killed my own mother for a video game headset. I'm a moron. But, that stuff, when you grow up, you start to realize, there's times where I look back at Facebook stuff that I used to post in high school, and I'm like, damn, what the hell was I posting? Let alone when I was 10 years old. So I think all I'm saying is he bad? What he did was evil? Absolutely. But does he deserve to spend the rest of his natural life in prison? Maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know. I just feel like as a 10-year-old, 6-year-old kid, they deserve, they need punishment, but they also need help. And I think a lot of those times these kids, why is the 10-year-old picking up a gun? Why is it his first nature to pick up a gun? Why is he so addicted to violent video games? That he witnessed violence in his neighborhood that makes him comfortable with that? I think that's why I said we should do a part two on this, because I got to see how this case unfolds, what the defense attorney says, what the jury thinks, because I think he's going to prison, but I don't think he's going for 60 years. I think he's going to get, maybe 25 to life, and then he's probably going to get out after, 15, 20 years. But
hopefully he don't get him. If that does happen, he don't freaking kill somebody else or some shit.
Now you're right, but we'll see. I think it was a good topic, because a lot of people, there's two sides. There's some people who, like you, lock them up, throw away the key. There's people like, well, actually, I would say three, because some people think kids could do whatever they want and get no consequences. I don't believe in that. I see that all the time with kids. Call it like, I remember I worked at a tennis facility in Long Island, and the owner's son, who was like 12, was calling me a bunch of racial slurs, and she didn't discipline this kid. So I don't know how he turned out, but she never corrected him on making fun of making racist terms at minorities. Some parents, some people treat kids like kid. They baby them the whole time. But I think he deserves some prison time, but maybe not 60 years. But any final thoughts?
Like I said, I just urge people to always, think critically with all aspects of the situation, before you go ahead and make your final decision. So kind of like how I ask for the source, ask for the sources.
Absolutely. Let me know what you guys think. I'm gonna put up a poll. So I want people to express their opinions, because I think this is a good topic. Thank you for coming on. And like I always say, a helping hand is a better hand. Thank you, Dimitri.
Peace.